Major banks and businesses have offered green bonds, a monetary product invented by the World Bank. They have already issued tens of billions of dollars worth of bonds in order, they say, to redirect finance to serve the environment. What is the guarantee that this so-called green finance will benefit the planet?
The likelihood that banks, traders will be developing the hardware and software of this new market in a way that benefits them rather than benefits nature will be the same as was the case in the financial crisis 2008-2009. These financial derivatives, financial products that were being traded very rapidly, were not helping house owners to safely finance their home. No, they were developed and used to increase the profits that banks could make.
This is where the financial crisis started. The banks played on the dream of owning your own home. In the USA, they used the promise of this illusion to lure modest households with precarious finances. Once the families were no longer able to repay their loans, the house of cards collapsed, leading to the subprime crisis that made millions of Americans homeless. The world tipped into a social crisis.
Well, we've seen the consequences of financialization. We've seen the collapse of Wall Street. We are witnessing around the world this hungry money, which is only looking at how to make the next profit. Devastating economies, devastating ecosystems, devastating the planet. And for them to say that the reason the planet has been destroyed is because there wasn't a price, all we have to do is a map. Wherever there was a price, the minerals have been mined, the earth has been raped. Where there was reverence and respect, nature stands in her integrity. The evidence is very, very clear. Price has led to degradation and destruction. Pricing and financialization is a disease that we have to overcome. It's like a cancer on this planet and in the human mind.
But what is the connection between junk bonds, speculators and houses, and forests, insects, and orangutans? In the past, when people wanted to buy a property, they went to their bank to ask for a loan. The bank would assess their ability to repay the loan. The financial crisis made everyone realize that loans were no longer just the domain of banks. In fact, household debts are transformed into securities, bought by investors, then split up and mixed in with other debts to create derivatives more or less risky, therefore more or less profitable, and finally put onto financial markets. One day, too many homeowners were unable to continue paying back their debts, triggering a flood of bankruptcies. The world then discovered that some investors had speculated on the inability of homeowners to repay their loans.
It's not that big a stretch of an imagination to use the same logic of dividing up the biodiversity credits and dividing up biodiversity in a sense and saying, you can now speculate on the future date of extinction of that species.
On voit se développer des propositions importantes aux États-Unis pour développer de façon très très large tout un système de produits dérivés qui sont des produits d'assurance pour préserver des espèces, pour préserver des habitats. Moi, j'ai acheté auprès d'une compagnie d'assurance, d'un fonds financier, un titre qui me permet de m'assurer contre le risque de disparition, que je fasse disparaître cette espèce. Et ce titre-là, je peux le revendre. Et donc, il y a un marché secondaire qui ne porte pas sur l'objet initial. Que le dérivé soit sur un oiseau, soit sur du riz, soit sur du pétrole ou soit sur une action, ça n'a aucune importance. La nature du support initial n'a pas d'importance. Ce qui est important, c'est le rendement à la fin. Donc s'il y a du rendement possible, hein, en spéculant sur la disparition d'une espèce, mais pourquoi pas?
Yes, securitizations are sometimes bad and they led to the financial debacle. Those were bad securitizations. But securitizations also can be very, very good. That doesn't mean there should be no securitizations. That means we must work harder. But just because there's a chance of something going wrong, or just because there's a chance that someone might not like it, should we stop and not do it? I think that would be a foolhardy mistake.
But if things were to go wrong, what would the consequences be this time around? Is there a level of acceptable risk? Investment funds are already proposing species portfolios. You could choose 50 orangutan, 30 fly, or 40 locust credits. The Amazon rainforest is already listed on the world's first green stock exchange.
Some people will say, well, but this is all conspiracy. This is not going to happen. This is not the purpose of nature accounting. We don't want that. But how will they prevent this kind of development once the methodologies are there to start speculating, to start trading biodiversity? You provide the instruments, and the use of those instruments will be out of your hands.
At stake is our future on the planet. Can we really mortgage that out and place it on the financial markets? Lots of banks have committed to protecting species for just 50 years, just enough time to make a profit. Yet just a speck of dust as far as the Earth is concerned.
La única forma de salir de esta crisis ambiental es saliendo de una lógica de mercado, donde es el mercado el que nos domina, y pasar a una lógica donde es la conciencia humana la que define y decide qué es lo más apropiado para restaurar el equilibrio de la naturaleza.
We need to learn to get out of the valuation on the market, which is only price, where everything has a price and nothing has value, to everything of nature having value and not being measured in price, and finding other ways for humanity, as humanity for most of its history has done. It has not related to nature's values through price.
The world of finance toyed with the homes and households of America, sparking a crisis around the world. Only a handful of experts foresaw the danger of the mechanisms we engendered. Now we all know. The same recipes are applied, but this time their toy is nature. Is it a good idea to leave the planet in their hands?